Hey traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. So the second day into the week, we've seen risk markets continue to extend gains. Now, we haven't had a lot in the way of key news, and we did have key financial sector bank holidays yesterday for the US and the UK. So the European session has started, and we will see the London session come online today. So basically, so far today, we've had really strong continuing risk rallies, and this hasn't just been for Forex, it's been across in stocks as well. The ASX 200 has had a fantastic 2 days. Today's been a really strong day, and we've seen a break back into the high 5-7 area now. So it's trading at 7-week highs. So this continues on after we saw some good gains in European markets yesterday. And regardless of some of the bad news that's floating around with the current situation between China and Australia, and also China and the US in terms of trade war and the threats being made about economic sanctions and who's not going to buy this or that, but this hasn't affected the ASX at the moment, and it hasn't affected the Australian dollar. It's mainly been concentrating now on a weaker USD and a weaker Japanese yen as risk is on and safe havens are off. And we've seen even now today the dollar CAD start to extend some losses as well, and it held up pretty well yesterday, but selling's really got on the way today, with now what looks like a new continuation in motion. And we're seeing nearly 0.5% lower so far at the moment, and we'll just have to, the big question will be if sellers get down to this support area, if that holds again, rejects and reholds again for buyers, but we're still a little way off that at the moment. But some of the ones we're watching today, there was a comment out of the Bank of Japan from Governor Kuroda. They said that Japan's still in a very severe situation. That didn't do anything really for the yen, discontinued it to be sold, and we're seeing continued really good gains from the pound, the euro, and the Aussie against the yen. The dollar as well is higher to the yen, but it's not raging like the other pairs are at the moment. So the pound yen is looking quite good at the moment. Excuse me. We did see a trend break yesterday, a trend break last week. That's been now consolidated. We saw a retest of a low that's held as support. That was retested yesterday. We saw a very weak little pushy high, a higher move yesterday by buyers, but now we've seen a real move higher. And so the key really is this higher low support hold here. We've seen buyers break off that point, and we're seeing another trend break here. So early days, but we are starting to see what's starting to look like a turner trend. But we do have some resistance at this point and at this point, and we will need to see how buyers deal with that if they get back up to those levels. And the next key forward would like to see is if we have the extension to test, and then if we had the next pullback, that we would see a new higher low develop with a push higher. So what we are watching on the pound yen at the moment. Now the euro yen is that if you weren't in this trade earlier, that boat sort of sailed for now. We will like to see what happens if price reaches this high, if it does come back in as resistance. And the Australian dollar is strong, but lagging a little bit at the moment, but it is still strong, but it is lagging a touch. So again, we're seeing it at this resistance point here. I would like to see if we do see a break above that tonight, or if it does stall, and then we'd like to see it clear that to sort of suggest that there is a bit more to go. But again, it is starting to get a little bit high now off the two averages. So we'd like to just maybe wait for it to see if we do, after a bit more, if we do see more of a rally, that when we see a pullback back to that nominal kind of area. And just very quickly touching on the pairs to the US dollar. The pound at the moment is it's sort of laggy. There's a lot more interest in the pound yen than the pound dollar right now. We will need to see what happens with buying into tonight's London session, if we do see a bit of an acceleration or not, because at the moment it isn't stalling. We've had a nice crisp move up, but it hasn't seen some of the interest that we're seeing in some of the other pairs. So would like to see a little bit more evidence before we start to think about potential trend breaks. So that is a high low, and for now it is, like with the pound yen, it is holding, and the key point of the pattern right now. But we haven't seen that real drive suggesting a strong breakout just yet. Now the Euro USD, like with the Euro to the Yen, it's a nice pattern here. We're seeing a trend break. We have that higher low after the trend break, and there's a nice bounce off the 50 from the Williams. So again, we'd like to see a bit more of a rally, and if we were looking to try and buy the market, probably be waiting for a pullback at this stage for a new entry point. And the Aussie is a similar story as well, very similar to what the Aussie Yen at the moment. It's a little bit high off now, and we'd like to see what happens if it does get back up to this 65.95 point, and if there is a bit of a stall, or if it does continue higher through that resistance. So we don't have any key news coming out in tonight's European and US sessions, and we will just have to wait and see and watch if this nice strong momentum back to risk continues throughout tonight again, and carries on. So that's it for now. We hope you're having a great trading week and a good trading for the rest of the day, and until tomorrow, bye for now.